Friends, the story begins with the killer who was roaming around with a weapon in his hand and was hiding under this floor where a couple was hiding. Their friends had already been put to eternal sleep by the killer, and now it was their turn. That's why both of them were very scared and stayed hidden here, and the girl was so terrified that even after the boy kept telling her again and again, she didn't stay quiet, but kept crying, while the boy gathered courage and decided to go outside to get help. And as soon as he turned towards the outside, the killer immediately attacked him and cut his throat with the weapon he was carrying and threw it towards the girl. Seeing this, the girl screamed loudly and started running quickly to save her life, but unfortunately she could not escape from the killer's trap, and the killer also mercilessly killed her. After this, some articles are shown which were about Charlie's farm. Till today, whoever went there never came back, and in newspapers they were declared missing. After this dangerous intro, the scene shifts to a couple named Jason and Natasha, who also had a man named Mick with them, who was Jason's friend. Jason and Mick were planning to go somewhere. That's when Mick tells Jason, "Why don't we all go to Charlie's farm, which is considered the best horror place?" Although earlier a family used to live there, but they were cannibals. That's why the people of the town killed the entire family, and today that house spread across 1,000 acres is completely deserted and silent. That's why camping there would be a different kind of fun. Hearing all this, Jason agrees to go to Charlie's farm, and Natasha also calls her friend Melanie and asks her to join the trip, although Melanie and Natasha did not know where they were going. Anyway, the next day Melanie brings her stuff and comes to them, and Mick tries to flirt and set up with Melanie. And Melanie also likes Mick's funny style. And then the four of them get into a jeep and set out for their trip. This fun-filled journey was quite long. Evening was falling, so all of them went into a pub to find out the exact location of Charlie's farm, but no one told them the address of that place, which was quite strange. Seeing this, Mick goes to an old man named Blue and asks him about Charlie's farm. On this, Blue says that many years ago I also went there with my friends, and that place is really extremely dangerous. That's why you people should not go there. But Mick doesn't listen to him at all and comes out with his friends. To stop him, one of Blue's companions comes to Mick and again warns him not to go there. Getting annoyed, Mick starts fighting with him. And in anger, that man also tells Mick the address of Charlie's farm, where death was waiting for all of them. According to the address given, Charlie's farm was still quite far. So they decide to spend the night camping under the open sky. And when the four of them are sitting around the fire, Natasha refuses to go to Charlie's farm because everyone had told that place was dangerous. But Melanie wanted to go there so that she could experience that horror house. Mick says to them, "Let me tell you the whole story of Charlie's farm, which I was told in childhood. In the 80s, a couple named John and Meredith used to live there happily with their son, Charlie. This family was called the Cannibal Family because they killed many workers on the farm and ate them. Most of John's prey were girls, whom he tied to the bed and tortured physically, while Meredith killed them, cooked the meat, and fed it to the family. Charlie's favorite food was ribs, that is, human ribs, which he ate with great joy. Charlie was a psycho kid who looked very ugly. The family was living their life like this. But when farmers from the town started disappearing, one day some people, including Blue, came to that family's house because everyone already knew that this family were cannibals. But John did not accept his mistake, and in anger, Blue killed John, while Meredith saved her life and escaped through the back door of the house with Charlie. When the townspeople entered the house to search, they found many dead bodies there, brutally murdered, while Meredith and Charlie had escaped, and it is said that even today Charlie is alive. After hearing this horror story, Natasha got really scared, but Mick explained to her that this is just a rumor, so we should go there. On this, Natasha also agreed. The next morning, to reach Charlie's farm, Jason calls his friend Tony. Tony says don't go there, that's better. But Jason was stubborn that he would definitely go there, so he insisted Tony tell him the address. Tony also gave him the location and also told him to stay alert. After that, the four of them continued their journey in a fully excited mood, and after a while, they reached near Charlie's farm. There was a lock on the gate, and the jeep could not go further, so they left the jeep there and went ahead on foot. After walking about 2 kilometers, they finally reached Charlie's farm, which was in a terrible condition. Still, they were very happy to see it, and quickly went inside the house, where there was filth everywhere. While visiting the house, they found a room whose door was locked, but after some effort, Mick managed to open this door, and when they all went inside, they found a teddy from Charlie's childhood, which Melanie found very cute, so she decided to keep it with her. Although Natasha forbade her from doing so, she didn't listen and kept the teddy in her bag. When Jason goes into a room, he sees bloodstains on the ground. This was the same room where a girl named Amber was tortured. From here, the story turns to the past. When the townspeople entered the house, they found Amber's dead body cut in half. There were also some other dead bodies, rotten as if they had been there for years. When the townspeople did not find Meredith and Charlie, they started searching for them and after a while caught Meredith. But Charlie was not with her, because Meredith had already hidden him somewhere. Meredith told the people that he had died a year ago, and believing this lie, people also killed Meredith. And all this was secretly seen by Charlie. Mick was telling this whole story, which scared the three of them a bit, but then Mick calmed them down and sent them to their rooms to sleep. At night, when Melanie was sleeping with Charlie's teddy near her, suddenly she saw a tall, broad man in front of her. But being in deep sleep, she ignored it and went back to sleep. The next day, two more people named Gordon and Alyssa come to Charlie's farm, and after meeting these people, they tell them that we came here to search for our friends who disappeared weeks ago. And maybe they were talking about the couple from the beginning of the movie. Anyway, everyone sat and talked about Charlie's farm while having breakfast. And meanwhile, Melanie went to get Charlie's teddy, but she didn't find it in her bag. She accuses Mick of stealing it. But Mick clearly denies taking the teddy. Hearing this, Melanie tells them that last night someone came into the room and probably took the teddy, but no one believes her. Then everyone divides into groups of two and goes out to explore the farm. On the way, they see many abandoned cars whose owners were nowhere to be found. But still, they didn't get scared and kept moving ahead. Some distance ahead, Mick and Melanie see a dark pit from which a very foul smell was coming. But the darkness was so much that they couldn't see anything and moved ahead, but they didn't know that someone was watching them. Mick and Melanie then find a lake, and both of them go into it to bathe. On the other side, Alyssa and Gordon are shown, who find an axe outside the warehouse. Gordon picks it up, but it was quite dangerous, so Alyssa orders him to leave it there and takes him inside the warehouse, where there was a bed on which Charlie used to sleep. But they didn't understand this, and as soon as both were leaving, suddenly Charlie attacked Gordon's chest with the axe and killed him, while Alyssa hid in a corner by closing the door quickly to save her life. But Charlie broke the door and came inside, and seeing his terrifying monstrous form, Alyssa was shaken to her core. And within minutes, Charlie found Alyssa, knocked her unconscious, laid her on the ground, and mercilessly crushed her head with a tractor wheel, killing her. Meanwhile, Tony was very worried about his friends, so he immediately set out for Charlie's farm to check on them. On the other side, we see Natasha and Jason, who also find a warehouse-like place into which only Jason goes. Meanwhile, Mick and Melanie are shown spending some beautiful romantic moments at the lake. But suddenly Melanie screamed because Charlie was standing in front of her. But Mick wasn't scared at all seeing Charlie, and very confidently he came out of the lake and went to talk to Charlie, because he had ruined their romantic mood by interrupting. That's why he started insulting him. But this had no effect on Charlie. Instead, he kept laughing. And then suddenly, with the weapon in his hand, Charlie cut Mick's private part from his body and shoved it into his mouth, and Mick died in agony right there. Now Charlie's next target was Melanie. So she quickly got out of the lake and tried to run away, but she couldn't escape Charlie. Charlie caught her quickly, threw her to the ground, and mercilessly ripped out her lower jaw, killing her. In the evening, Tony also arrived at Charlie's farm, and when he went inside, his friends weren't there. But on one wall, he saw the names of all of them, which Jason, Melanie, and the rest had written as a memory. So he started searching for them. On the other side, we see Natasha, who was now waiting for Jason to come out. But even after a long time, when Jason didn't come out, she went inside herself and was shocked to see that Jason wasn't there. But just then, she heard Jason's voice from under the bed. Scared, Jason tells Natasha that I saw someone here with a dangerous weapon in his hand. Although at first Natasha thought it was a prank, when Charlie came there, she believed Jason, and both of them sat quietly. Before Charlie could make them his prey, Tony came there and started fighting with Charlie. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Natasha and Jason tried to escape, but then Charlie ripped the flesh from Tony's neck and killed him, and moved toward Jason. Before Jason could understand anything, Charlie brutally cut his throat and killed him. And as soon as Natasha tried to run away, Charlie caught her. When she opened her eyes, she was locked in a wooden box. Natasha broke it and easily came out, and was shocked to see rotten dead bodies all around. Just then, she saw stairs to get out. As soon as she tried to climb the stairs, Charlie came there. But before he could see her, Natasha hid. And as soon as Charlie left, Natasha quickly tried to get out. And suddenly Blue came near her, pulled her up, and started running away with her. But just then, Charlie struck Blue with an axe and killed him too. Now it was Natasha's turn, so she showed courage, quickly took Blue's gun, shot Charlie, and knocked him to the ground. Then she ran towards the truck. But just then Charlie came there, shot Natasha, killed her too, and then lifted her body and carried it away. And with this, the movie came to an end. So friends, how did you like this story? Interesting, right? Then like and share the video. Friends, the story begins by showing two forest officers, Gabby and Winston, who were checking the forest activity with the help of drones, and Gabby had the control of this drone. Suddenly, he sees a tribal man in the forest. Before Gabby can see any further, the tribal man considers the drone a threat, breaks it, and keeps it for himself. Seeing this, Gabby tells Winston that I have to get that drone back. Therefore, we will have to go to the forest. But Winston explains that no one who has ever gone into that forest has ever returned. Therefore, it is not right to go there. But brave Gabby somehow convinces him and steps into the depths of the forest and starts searching for the drone. Here, people cover the cameras installed by the government with mud so that no one can see the activities in the forest. After making all the arrangements for their safety, the two men start searching for food to fill their stomachs and keep many mushrooms and insects as food. Here, we see Winston changing the memory cards of the cameras installed in the forest. Meanwhile, his eyes fall on the soil placed on the camera. Seeing this, some doubt arises in his mind, but he ignores this and gets busy with his work. On the other hand, Gabby was navigating through the dense forest using a map so that he does not get lost in this maze. As Gabby moves forward, his foot gets caught in a trap and a piece of wood goes through it. So he quickly calls Winston for help. Winston also hears Gabby's voice on the walkie-talkie, so he runs towards the boat. But unfortunately, the walkie-talkie doesn't work because it fell into the water. So Winston sets out to find him. In this way, evening begins to fall, and Gabby, alone, musters courage and tries to reach Winston with the help of a stick, which is tied to his leg. But then he sees a red light near a tree, where small red particles are flying like dust. Gabby ignores them and reaches near a house, where there is no one inside. He decides to spend the night here, and when he sees the condition of his leg, he feels very bad. The wound had become quite severe, so Gabby quickly bandages his leg and goes to sleep. Meanwhile, Winston keeps searching for him in the forest, and then he hears some strange sound and realizes that some invisible thing is following him. So Winston starts running quickly to save his life and hides behind a tree. But then he sees a strange creature, which was half human and half tree. Seeing this, Winston starts sweating and quickly starts running away from there. Meanwhile, Gabby has a very strange dream in which he vomits, and a piece of mushroom comes out of his mouth. A fungus infection begins to spread rapidly on Gabby's hand. Seeing this, Gabby's eyes open, and when he realizes that it was just a dream, he feels very relieved. Meanwhile, some men also come here, and when they see Gabby inside their house, they immediately attack him. But when Gabby tells them his story, they release Gabby, bandage his wounds, and give him insects and animal meat to eat, which Gabby refuses to eat. Now these people also tell about themselves, and it is revealed that Baron is Stefan's father. From here, the scene shifts to Winston, who is still hiding in the woods. But suddenly, the branches of the tree start growing towards him, as if it were some creature. Before Winston can understand anything, these branches catch him and infect him. Meanwhile, Gabby has another dream in the morning, in which he sees plants growing on his body, due to which Gabby wakes up immediately in fear. While Stefan and the Baron are wandering in the forest in search of prey, they find an animal, which the Baron kills and performs a ritual with its blood, which was quite strange. Unaware of all this, Gabby tries to contact Winston sitting at home through walkie-talkie, and hears some strange sound from the front which Gabby is unable to understand. So he quickly starts a fire outside the house so that Winston would come towards him after seeing the smoke. Meanwhile, he also finds a picture of a girl. Seeing smoke billowing outside the house, Stefan and Baron also quickly arrive, to whom Gabby tells about not being able to contact Winston. At night, Gabby asks Baron, "Who are you and whose photo was that?" On this, Baron tells that I was a pathologist, and the person whose photo you saw was Lily, Baron's wife, who was a chemical engineer. But then one day it was discovered that Lily had cancer. That's why both of them came to the forest at the last moment to spend time with nature. Baron further says that here he had a vision of God. Gabby is shocked to hear all this. Meanwhile, Winston begins to transform into a strange tree, as if the tree had infected him. Late at night, Gabby is visited by a twig-like creature. Before Gabby could do anything, Baron quickly puts a hand over his mouth and tells him that he can't see it, but he can hear it. So stay quiet. Meanwhile, a creature attacks them, and both Stefan and Baron fight it bravely. And as soon as they attack it, its blood drops fall on Gabby's face, while the creature quickly saves its life and runs away from there. Seeing the blood, Stefan quickly asks him to change his clothes. And here we see that Baron has also been infected by this blood. Baron tells Gabby that this fungus enters the body through the eyes and mouth and starts spreading rapidly, and then humans turn into plants. Hearing this, Gabby asks him, "Is this your god?" On this, Baron says that bacteria came before us humans, and plants gave us life, hence they are our god. The next morning, Gabby has another strange dream, and when he wakes up, Stefan is sitting in front of him, staring at him. When Gabby shows him the photo on his phone, he is very surprised, because it was the first time he had seen a mobile phone. But Baron doesn't like this, and throws Gabby's phone on the ground, warning him to keep Stefan away from things in the human world. The Baron then takes Stefan to a tree in the forest, and as they perform the ritual, he pours blood into the hole in the tree. So the tree gives him some mushrooms, which both father and son eat. On the other hand, Gabby finds Baron's book, in which it was written about humans harming plants and trees and supporting nature. Meanwhile, Baron and Stefan also arrive here, and seeing the plants growing on Gabby's hand, Baron asks Gabby to be alert of them. But Gabby ignores this and sets off with the Baron towards the river so that he can go home. On the way, Gabby asks Baron why he lives here when there is so much danger in the forest. Baron doesn't give a specific answer to this, and after walking some distance, Gabby spots Winston's walkie-talkie. Seeing this, Gabby starts searching for Winston nearby. And in the meantime, he also takes out the memory card from a camera so that he can get information about Winston. As Gabby takes a few steps forward, he is shocked to see the condition of Winston tied to a tree in front of him because half of Winston's body was surrounded by trees and plants. Winston asks Gabby to kill him before he becomes the creature, but Gabby doesn't kill him. So the Baron gives Winston an arrow and asks him to kill himself, and Winston takes his life with this arrow. Meanwhile, a creature sees them, and they both escape and come back into the house, and Baron closes the house from all sides. At night, when Gabby looks at his feet, he sees some mushrooms growing. As a cure, Gabby asks Baron for medicine because he doesn't want to become like Winston by getting infected, but the Baron leaves without giving any answer. Seeing this, Gabby asks Stefan where he has gone so late at night. On this, Stefan tells him that he has gone to pray to the goddess. Now Gabby asks Stefan about his mother, and Stefan reveals that his mother is alive in this forest, which has been adopted by nature. Here, we see Baron, who goes near the same tree and tries to talk to the tree by performing a ritual, and the tree makes a demand from him, hearing which Baron is shocked and comes back home. While Gabby tries to convince Stefan to move to the city so he can improve his future. The next day, the Baron takes Stefan to the same tree and gives him mushrooms from the tree to eat. But Stefan feeds these mushrooms to Gabby because he started liking her. After eating the mushrooms, the plants growing on Gabby's body start decreasing. That means to protect them from infection, that tree used to give them mushrooms as medicine, for which the Baron had to perform a ritual. Now, Gabby decides to stay with them, and Stefan teaches her how to shoot arrows, and also takes her to the tree, and tells her that this is my mother. When Gabby looks at the tree, it is shaking towards a person, and there is a ring on one of the branches, which surprises Gabby. One day, Gabby asks Baron why he is living his life in this forest. On this, the Baron tells that, look, there lives a goddess here whom the Baron cannot leave. This tree has so much power that it will take over the entire world in the future, and one day human civilization will be destroyed by nature, the way humans have tried to destroy nature. Gabby now expresses his desire to see the goddess, and Baron agrees. During this conversation, Gabby inserts the memory card removed from the camera into his phone, and when he checks the mobile, he sees the creature that attacked Winston. And the surprising thing was that Baron was also there, but he did not save Winston. Well, at night, the three perform a ritual in which a paste is applied to Gabby's chin and powder is put in his nose, after which Gabby's soul reaches another world where there was a big tree in front. Then Stefan comes here without clothes and gets intimate with Gabby. Here, the Baron is also seen wrapped in pure cloth, seeing which Gabby wakes up, and it is revealed here that the goddess has demanded the sacrifice of Stefan because the Baron has killed animals and birds. So now he has to take revenge by killing his son. Stefan and Gabby are very surprised to hear this. The next morning, Gabby tells Baron that she will take Stefan with her to the city. But the Baron does not agree to this. Instead, he entangles Stefan in his sweet words and tells him that he has raised him. We have been together for 2 years. Don't leave me alone now. Hearing all this, Stefan also decides to stay with the Baron, and Gabby starts going out of the forest alone. But then he thinks of Stefan's sacrifice. Gabby quickly rushes back to save Stefan, and her fears were true, as the Baron was about to sacrifice Stefan to please the goddess. So he takes Stefan to the tree, and is about to sacrifice him when Gabby arrives. At first, she tries to stop the Baron, but when he does not stop, Gabby attacks him with an arrow, due to which the Baron gets injured, and creatures also start coming here, due to which Gabby brings Stefan home. And that night, both of them come closer and get intimate. The next morning, Gabby reads the Baron's book again. Here we see Baron, who was infected due to coming under the contract of the creature. The same was true of Gabby. She started turning into trees and plants, so she tells Stefan to go to the city and start a new life. On the other hand, Baron donates his blood to the tree to avoid infection. But still, the tree does not give him mushrooms, due to which Baron becomes a victim of this infection. Now Stefan also sets out towards the city, and when he is leaving a restaurant after eating, we are shown his leftover food, which is getting infected. And with this, the movie ends here. Friends, in the beginning of the story, we are told that the trees and plants have been affected by a strange virus, and the entire ecosystem has been destroyed. Due to this, even the Earth is no longer suitable for human habitation. Before it is completely destroyed, scientists set out to find a cure for the virus as soon as possible and launch a space project, Gemini, through which they had to go to a new planet named Test and install a sphere. Steven explains that this sphere is more than 4 billion years old. Who made it, when, and why was a secret that no one knew. For Project Gemini, some scientists had to go to the new planet and do research, while Steven's partner, Amy, decides to stay on Earth and find the cure. Amy wanted to meet Steven before the spacecraft left. But unfortunately, before reaching Steven, the spacecraft takes off, and the team members fasten their seatbelts and prepare themselves for the dangerous path ahead because they had to take a hyperjump and reach a planet named Test faster than the speed of light. While taking a hyperjump, these people pass through a spiral path. As soon as the spacecraft gets trapped in this maze, its systems start malfunctioning, and strange movements start occurring in the sphere, and the health of all the people starts deteriorating. But as soon as they come out of this loophole, everything becomes normal, and they see a new planet in front of them which was not Test. They neither had the location of this place, nor any data to go back from here. In such a situation, they had no way left, and they were stuck on this unknown planet. Steven blames the entire problem on the spacecraft pilot, and says that he made a mistake in entering the coordinates for Test, to which Peter says that I have just followed the instructions given to me. But Steven doesn't trust Peter, and the entire mission fails. Peter leaves angrily after listening to Steven's words. But after some time, Peter's dead body appears in front of them, whose condition was very bad. Seeing this, everyone thinks that Peter has taken his own life because the mission failed. Steven then orders the team members to gather information about the Test planet, and after checking, David tells him that this planet is made of volcanic rock, and its atmosphere is much better than the Test planet. After knowing all this, Steven decides to install the sphere here, but the other members are unhappy with this hasty decision, because they did not know much about the planet. And then the spacecraft's Captain Ryan comes and tells Steven that whatever I say will happen. Now, since Steven was the head of this project, despite everyone's refusal, he insists on activating the sphere here, and sets out towards the planet with a shuttle, and some other crew members are also with him. Following the instructions of Richard sitting in the craft, they land on the new planet with the sphere. But the atmosphere here is quite different, which made it difficult for the spacecraft to land safely. But they still land, and find that their shuttles are no longer in a condition to return to the main craft. But it doesn't matter to Steven, because his only purpose was to explore this planet. After this, Steven comes out of the shuttle and takes the sphere inside a cave, and installs this sphere with the help of all the crew members. On the other hand, we are shown their craft in which some strange, sticky liquid was spread, but they had no knowledge of this at all. Here we see Richard, who was wandering alone in the main spacecraft, and then he goes to the engine room where Peter was last seen. Here he sees Peter's camera, and a strange, sticky liquid that he doesn't know where it came from. We then see Steven, who activated the sphere. Then Richard asks him to watch a video. Everyone quickly goes to the craft and watches Peter's video, in which Peter was moving towards the engine while recording the video. But then something strange appears around the sphere and brutally kills Peter. But what was this thing? Everyone starts thinking the same thing. Now, since Richard was alone in the main craft, all the crew members were very worried about Richard. But Richard informs them that the danger is not to me, but to you people, because that dangerous thing is present with the sphere, and you people are near it right now. Before they could understand anything, David informs Stephen that recent data has shown that carbon dioxide is increasing in the atmosphere, and the surprising thing was that there was no living thing there that could release carbon dioxide. The entire setting of the way the sphere was working on Earth had changed after coming to this new planet. Seeing all this, Stephen proceeds to change the settings, but Jan stops them and shows all the crew members a video of the time when Stephen was setting up the sphere. In this video, strange particles emerge from the sphere and form a human figure, which leaves everyone stunned. Ryan tells everyone that Stephen didn't tell us about this human figure, because it could also be a demon from the sphere. Ryan's words further upset the crew members, and then we see a scene from the past where David and Stephen stand face to face. Stephen advises David against going into space because he had recently suffered the death of his daughter, after which David's mental condition also deteriorated. In such a situation, it was not right for David to go to space, but David tells him that the doctor has declared me completely mentally fit. Now the story shifts to the present, and Stephen emotionally engages David in his talks and says that when you were so shocked by the death of your daughter, then imagine how sad people would be if they came to know that they were going to die. So we have to change the settings of the sphere and move forward with the project. Persuaded by Stephen, David agrees to go to the sphere, and everyone goes inside the cave. David sees on his device that a strange figure, which Stephen was calling Trojan, is heading towards them. David asks to get out of here quickly, but Stephen persists in changing the sphere's settings, and an angry David begins firing at the sphere. Stephen also gets angry at David's action, and takes David at gunpoint and says that if you do anything to the sphere, then you will not escape from my hands. As they argue, the Trojan monster approaches them, but before any harm is done, both of them escape from here and come to the craft, but Ryan sees them, and the Trojan monster also follows them and comes here. Due to this, the alarm starts ringing in the craft, which also wakes Leona up. When she escapes the cabin, a crew member hides her in a lab. Many samples were kept in this lab. While he was watching them, something strange started happening in the lab, and then the Trojan monster appeared before him. This crew member quickly rescues Leona and saves her life, but is himself killed by the monster. Leona quickly tells everyone about the Trojan, to which Ryan gets angry at Stephen, saying that he is the one responsible for all this. When they check the devices, it is revealed that when the Trojan monster entered the craft, it badly destroyed one of the engines and damaged some cameras, and now their connection to Richard was also lost. Seeing all this, Stephen thinks that by spreading smoke, the Trojan might be able to escape the craft. Working on his idea, Stephen tries to connect all the connections to the backup generator and succeeds in doing so. After this, even the faulty cameras start working. But then the crew members tell Stephen that the Trojan monster is coming towards you. Before Stephen can leave, Trojan arrives, and as it moves towards Stephen to make him its prey, meanwhile, Ryan arrives and saves Stephen. Meanwhile, the crew members discover that the monster manipulates electromagnetic waves. Stephen and Ryan both safely return to the rest of the crew, and Stephen makes a plan to capture the monster, telling everyone that they will lure it towards themselves and take it out of the craft. Everyone likes Stephen's idea. Working on the plan, Stephen takes out the Trojan, and as Leona comes out in front of the engine to kill the Trojan, the engine starts, and the fire coming out of the engine kills Leona. David tries to pull Stephen inside, but Trojan stops David from doing so and attacks him with its tentacles. Here the craft was locked so that the Trojan would not try to enter inside. Meanwhile, the story moves into the past, where Amy explains to Stephen that she has prepared the blueprint of the virus, the positive results of which will save the Earth, but he shouldn't go into space. But Stephen doesn't hear any of it. Seeing this, Amy tells him that she is going to be the mother of his child. She needs him with her, but Stephen still remains firm on his decision. Seeing this, Amy gets very angry and throws away the bracelet given by Stephen and goes away. During this difficult time, Stephen remembers all those things about Amy. In the present, both Stephen and David have arrived at the lab and have brought Trojan's tentacle with them, which Stephen checks very closely. While David's condition is very critical due to the attack of Trojan, because the Trojan attacked him with its tentacles and injured him. On this, Stephen tells David that his blood can now help them in making the vaccine. As Stephen cuts the tentacle to check it, the light suddenly starts blinking, and then Stephen realizes that the monster is like a robot, which is connected to the sphere. If they want to get rid of the Trojan, they will have to disconnect it from the sphere and destroy both. This tentacle was somewhat similar to the bracelet Amy had been given. Stephen asks Richard to check the position of stars 4 billion years ago, and the result is exactly like this planet. Seeing this, they understand that they are on Earth at this time, and they were present on Earth 4 billion years ago. That means they had gone back in time by time traveling. Stephen tells Richard that he needs to send a message to Amy so she can make the vaccine, because their mission has failed. Therefore, they will not be able to stop the Earth from being destroyed in the future. But Amy can save Earth by creating an antidote to the virus. Stephen writes a code on a bracelet that could turn on the Earth sphere. The code written on the bracelet piece will also appear on the bracelet Amy has in 4 billion years, and then she will be able to save Earth. Richard looks into the camera to see Ryan preparing to blast the sphere, but Stephen has kept it locked away. Richard tells Stephen everything, and Stephen goes to Ryan and tells him that they will blast the Trojan in this craft so that it will not get a chance to escape. But then David comes here and shoots Ryan and kills him, and he threatens Stephen, saying that if he activates the sphere, then people will have to face the same problem again that they are facing right now. But Stephen does not listen to this, and calls Trojan inside and spreads smoke everywhere, and starts going out himself. But then David attacks him, and Trojan comes here and kills David, and Trojan is also killed due to the time bomb. While Stephen approaches the sphere and contacts Amy, Amy activates the sphere on Earth by drawing the pattern on the bracelet, and the two come closer to each other. Stephen gives Amy a formula that can stop the virus spreading among plants and trees. And after some time, Stephen also returns to Earth, and everything becomes normal. And the movie ends here. So how did you like this movie? Wasn't it great? Please give your opinion in the comment section. Please like and share the video, and subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the upcoming videos. See you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye, take care.